Hello everybody and welcome to my channel. In this video we are going to work on a real-world project for data analysis with Python. So today's dataset is the police dataset, and I will be including the CSV file in the description below. And if you want to make the best out of this video, as I suppose you want to, you can follow me while I'm working on this project. First of all, go to your search bar on your computer and type prompt to find the Anaconda PowerShell prompt, and then just type in Jupyter Notebook. And once your Jupyter page comes on, you can go to New Python to create your page for the project. So first of all, what we have to do is we have to import the Panda library, and we can do that by typing import pandas as pd, and we have to run the syntax, and then we have to import our data, which is included down in the description below. So we are going to name our data just data, simple as that. So data equals pd dot read underscore csv, which is the syntax for reading CSV file on Python. After this, you will have to go to the location where your file is, and one click with the right, and go to properties and then security, and then just copy the name, object name, and then paste it on our syntax. And in order for the syntax to work, you have to add a small r, and you have to run the syntax. You can either click on run, or you can just press shift and enter on your keyboard. So the first step we're going to do is we want to take a look at the type of data we have and the columns and everything. So in order to do this, we can just type data and then run our syntax, and the summary basically of this data is appearing here. We have stop date, stop time, country name, driver gender, driver age row, driver age, driver race, violation row, and so on and so on. So the first thing I want to find out is the total number of records of our data set. We have many methods to find this out. So the first method I'm going to use is the shape method, and the syntax is this. So data dot shape and we can see that the total records is 65,535 record. Next, we can use the len and index method, and it is and the syntax is like this. Len data dot index, and we can see that the results are the same. Next, I want to find out the different drivers races. So let us first get back the column name of our data. So we can do this by just writing data.head. If you want to see 2 rows, you can type in 2. If you want to see 5 rows, you can type in 5. So this is basically the difference. And to find out the driver's race, how many races we have, we can use the unique method. So data driver race dot unique, and then we can see we have white, black, Asian, Hispanic, and others. So this is like a summary of the different type of races that we have. If we want a more detailed answer, we can use the value counts method. And the syntax goes as follows. So basically it's the same syntax, but we just have to replace unique with value counts, and we will get how many white people and how many black and how many Asians and how many Hispanic. So as we can see, we have 45,000, more than 45,000 people white, and then black we have 8,200 something, and Hispanic we have 5,600, Asian. We can also use the same method of value counts to find out that just the general count of races that we have in our data set. And we just have to take this first syntax and just add to it dot index. And then we have the general look or general view of the races available in our data set. So next, I want to know the stops by gender, like whether the females or the males were stopped more by the police. So first of all, let us use the value counts method to see how many male and how many females in our data set. And first of all, let's get our data first to see the column names and everything. So this is the syntax: data driver gender, since we are interested in seeing the difference between the female and the male, and then we just have to add value counts. So from the results, we can see that in our data set we have 45,164 men and 16,310 women. So next we have to use the group by method to also find out how many female and how many males were stopped. So data.group by driver gender dot size, we can see it's the same results. For female we have 16,310, and for male we have 45,164 men. So we can also use another method, which is the pivot table method. And this is how we write our syntax: data.pivot underscore table and then index. But our index equals driver gender. So it's also the same result. I think it's best to use the more simple method, but this also works, and it doesn't hurt to know all the methods we can use. So next, let's find the average age of the drivers. So this is very simple. We use the mean method. Data, driver age, but let us get the columns names first so we don't make a mistake. I mean, it's always good to see the column names in front of you to make things easier, and just copy and paste. So let's find the driver age and then just copy and paste it into our syntax. Dot mean. So we see the average age for the drivers is 34 years old. From this we can also find the driver age by gender. Like the driver age, we want to find the driver's age for women and for the men. So let's do this together. So in the syntax, we have to include basically the driver age and the driver gender. And we can use the group by function to do this. So data.group by driver gender and driver's age. So just copy and paste the names of our columns to make things easier, to make sure we don't make a mistake. Dot mean. So for female, we have the average age is 32 years old, and for the men, we have 34 years old. Next, let's find out the most common violation in our data set. So we can do this in different ways. First, let's try the group by method first. Let's run the syntax, and we can see that the most common violation is speeding. So this means that most people were stopped for speeding. Excuse me. We can also use another syntax, which is value counts method. But this will give us a more detailed answer. So the syntax is data violation dot value counts. It's very simple. It's a very simple one. Yeah, so we have the speeding, we have 37,000 people were stopped for speeding, and then followed by moving violation, which is 11,926 people. Equipment, 6,000, other 3,000 registration plate, 2,000. We can also use the mode method, which is also very simple. So data violation dot mode, and this one also gives us the very simple and shorter answer. So we can see that the answer is speeding. Next, let's try to find out the number of people arrested. So just because someone was stopped doesn't mean they were arrested. So let's see how many were actually arrested. So let us get the columns in front of us. And we are interested in whether someone was arrested or not. So is arrested, we have the column is arrested, and then we have true or false. So let's try to solve this using the value counts method. We can just copy and paste our column name. Value counts. So like this, we will see how many people were arrested and how many were not. So the answer is 2,260 people only were arrested, and 59,000 were basically let go. Next, let's try to find the arrest rate, like the percentage of how many people were arrested. This gives us a clearer idea about these arrests. So the syntax is arrested. Let's call this arrested data just to make things clearer, I guess, and more easy. So let's call this arrested data. So arrest rate is basically arrested data divided by the total arrested people, the total stopped people. Equals true. Let's print the arrest rate. So it's 0.036. So we can times 100 to find the percentage. So the percentage is 3.67. So 3.67% of the total stopped people were arrested. Let's see the arrest rate by gender. Let's see whether females were arrested more or men were arrested more. I'm guessing the men were arrested more. So the syntax, let's call, so this is the syntax. So this syntax is only for the people who were actually arrested, and we called it arrested data. Now we want to find out the percentage of each gender from the arrested data. Now we can print the arrested rate, gender times 100. So we can see, of course, the men were arrested more than the females. I want to know the arrest rate by race this time. I can also take a guess that black people were probably arrested more, or most, because we all know the problem with race in the US. So it's basically the same syntax as before, but we just have to change the driver gender to driver race. Let's print the arrest rate for race multiplied by 100. And of course, it was obvious that black people were arrested more and Hispanic. So they're very close, 6.59 and 6.46%. The minority was Asian people, which was 1.89, followed by white, of course. So we can see there's clear difference between the arrest rate for different races. So next I want to know the mean of the stop duration. Let us first get back our column names and everything. So let's see the column we're interested in is stop duration. So you can see that the column is like from 0 to 15. Let's see the different values we have. So first of all, we have to change these columns to an actual numbers to be able to calculate the mean, because like this we cannot calculate the mean. So let's get the different values for this column, and then we will be able to change them into actual numbers. Okay, so the first group is from 0 to 15 minutes, then from 16 to 30 minutes, and then more than 30 minutes. So let's start changing this column. So from 0 to 15 minutes, we will just take the average and change it to 7.5 minutes. And then we will change the from 16 to 30 minutes to the average also, just to keep things real as much as we can. So this will be for 24 minutes, and the last group is more than 30 minutes. And let's make this 45 minutes. So let's see if this syntax worked. Let's check the column. Stop duration. Okay, so we have the new numbers. Now we can go ahead and calculate the mean. And we can do this like we've seen before. I'm sorry. Let's change this real quick. So we have that the mean of the stop duration is 12 minutes. Maybe we can try to find out the stop duration mean for each gender. Like we can check if the male or the females were stopped longer. Stop duration. Oh, I'm sorry about this. Dot mean. Forgot to add it. Okay, so obviously the men, there's not much difference because the men were stopped for 12 minutes and the females were, average stop was 11 minutes. Maybe we can find the stop duration for each race. This would be interesting to see. So it's basically the same syntax, we just have to change driver gender to driver race. Okay, yes, there is a difference. So for Black people and Hispanic, they were stopped longer for almost 14 minutes. And then we have Asians, 11 minutes, white, 11 minutes. So let's try to find out next the violations for each gender, the most common violation for each gender. So for female, it's speed in moving violation, equipment, registration plate, speed in moving violation. So basically it's the same. Yeah, it's almost exactly the same. What else can we find out from our data? Okay, we can find out whether the search was conducted or not. Okay, so from our 65,000, more than 65,000 people that were stopped, only 2,479 were actually searched, their vehicles. Maybe you can find out the search conducted by gender. You can find out if the male were searched more or the female. I mean, the answer is going to be obvious, right? Basically, the male, I guess. I'm guessing. But let's try to find out. Sorry, I forgot something. Group by. So 366 females were searched, and 2,100 male were searched. But let's find out the percentage to be clear, because these results are not clear. So we want to find out the percentage of females that were searched from the total females that were stopped. So first, let's see the total female drivers. Let's print this to see the result. So we have 16,310 females were stopped by the police. Now let's find out female searched, the female who were searched. So we can use the same syntax basically. and because two things have to be true in this case. The driver must be a female and the search conducted must be a true. Okay, so let's print female searched. Okay, so now we can take this number and divide it by the total female drivers to see the percentage. Divided by total female drivers and multiplied by 100. Let's print the percentage. So the percentage is 2.24%. As your assignment, if you finished watching this video, please try and find out the percentage of the male who were searched. You can use basically the same method. It's a very simple assignment. And if you do it, please let me know your answer in the comments. So we've reached the end of this video. I hope you did learn a thing or two with me. And please wait for me on another project and another video. Thank you for watching.